street. Do you think God loves football?
I think that everybody loves football.
It was one of the most beloved television shows of all time.
Ready?
From 2006 to 2011, Friday Night Lights proved the trials and tribulations of a small-town Texas high school football team could capture the hearts of millions of viewers across the country.
It's unlike any other show ever, period.
Now the cast returns to Dillon High School for an unforgettable reunion.
I'm Gaius Charles, and I play Brian Smash Williams, baby.
Scott Porter, Jason Street.
Have you lost your mind? I'm Mama Smash.
It's good to be home.
The following program.
Modern style.
Clear eyes, full hearts.
Can't lose.
Clear eyes, full hearts, can't lose.
Clear eyes,
Full hearts.
The summer of 2016 marked the 10th anniversary of the premiere of Friday Night Lights. To celebrate, the cast descended on Austin, Texas for the ATX Festival and a rare reunion at Herman Field, home of the Dillon Panthers.
Thank you for coming tonight. This is amazing.
Any excuse to come to Austin, I'll be here. But this was kind of really special because it is a 10-year reunion.
Just happy to be back together, all of us, the whole crowd together.
And when I first drove up, my heart went pitty-patter.
It feels great to be back on the field.
It's amazing. It's nostalgic. All the fans out here, it's wonderful.
Way to go, Dillon!
The story of Friday Night Lights began back in 1990 with author Buzz Bissinger's bestseller, Friday Night Lights, A Town, a Team, and a Dream. The Pulitzer Prize-winning journalist spent a year in Odessa, Texas, revealing the enormous impact of high school football on a rural community.
Buzz Bissinger kind of moved his family down there to write this book, Friday Night Lights, which was kind of the first glimpse that people got at the high school football culture in Texas, which is very different from high school football culture everywhere else.
14 years later, director Peter Berg turned the book into a feature film starring Billy Bob Thornton and Connie Britton.
Peter Berg directed the 2004 film Friday Night Lights, and it had moderate success, but he really felt like he had just scratched the surface and there were still so many stories to tell.
He wanted to go deep with the TV show to really look at how the sport and the community were impacted by what was going on in the town.
Berg's project was greenlit by NBC as an hour drama. Casting would be critical.
Peter Berg struck gold when he cast Connie Britton in the film, and he really had to convince her to join the TV show by telling her that, it wasn't just gonna be a traditional wife role that you see a lot on TV.
She had already played the coach's wife. She didn't want to be sitting on the sidelines, clapping, watching her husband. So she actually took a little coaxing and eventually understood that Tami Taylor would be the heart of the series.
I think just football itself is more than a full-time job.
Connie Britton was not a kind of known name before Friday Night Lights, but she took Tami Taylor and made her this beloved, strong female character. And now Friday Night Lights, I think, will forever be part of her legacy.
I have the reserve parking for Tami Taylor sign. It's in my driveway.
They're gonna come at you with everything they've got. I expect you boys to execute. Yes, sir. Expect you boys to play football.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Clear eyes, full hearts, can't lose.
Can't lose! Kyle Chandler, another actor who had been around, done a few things, but nothing really major at that point in his career. Kyle Chandler brought a real paternal nature to Coach Taylor.
Peter Berg kind of had a distinct vision of someone a little bit older, kind of a little more traditional Texas look. He thought Kyle Chandler was too pretty. Kyle showed up to meet Berg, hungover, rolled up on a motorcycle, and just so was this character that thankfully, being a little hungover got him a job.
Yes, Friday Night Lights was about football, about the small town in Texas, but really the key to the show was the chemistry between Coach and Tami, and Connie and Kyle, it was just undeniable.
Together, Connie Britton and Kyle Chandler made one of the best marriages on television ever.
Honey, I'm pregnant.
Pregnant like you can have a baby pregnant.
That special thing was about Friday Night Lights is just the incredible cast that we had. Kyle and Connie, but really everybody.
The vast majority of this cast, they were pretty unknown coming into Friday Night Lights, which I think is a huge part of why the show felt so believable. You believed that these people grew up in Dillon because you hadn't seen them in anything else.
Scott Porter had barely been on television before landing the emotionally charged role of the paralyzed star quarterback.
I'm sorry if I let you down. Let the team down.
A lot of these actors seemed like they were born to play the characters, but with Taylor Kitsch, it's like you know that he was born to play Tim Riggins.
But I do smell alcohol on your breath. Have you been drinking?
No.
Taylor Kitsch actually put himself on tape back in Canada drinking a Lone Star beer, and as soon as Peter Berg and everyone watched his tape, they knew they had Riggins.
Adrianne Palicki was fresh off an 8-episode stint on the primetime soap South Beach before slipping into the role of Tyra Collette.
Smash.
Hey.
What's up? How you gonna buy your burger?
Hey, baby, you can get a bite anytime you want to.
Jesse Plemons, who was also unknown, cast as Landry. Ironically, from talking to the cast and producers, I've found out that he was maybe the second most talented football player on the team, which is funny because Landry, not so great.
The Panthers are looking completely out of sync.
Minka Kelly barely considered herself an actress when she was cast for Friday Night Lights. At the time, she was a scrub nurse working in a plastic surgeon's office.
Don't insult me.
Zach Gilford was actually discovered by casting director Linda Lowy, and I think at the time he was folding clothes in a store somewhere and really had no acting experience, let alone to become QB1.
Saracen, quarterback's captain.
Gaius Charles immediately went for cocky, confident smash, even telling director Peter Berg, "I'm the guy you want."
Just as you. I got this.
All right, ready?
I don't even think Gaius ever played football before in his life, but he really pulled it off because I always thought he was a good football player.
This kid can move.
The best football player in the cast had to be Brad Leland. The veteran actor won the Texas State Championship in 1971 with Plano Senior High School.
Can I ask you a question? How can you even think about that stuff when you're in the mess that you are with your wife?
You know what, Eric?
I'll always care about the Panthers. Pam can cut off my head and stick it on a spike in the front yard, but I'll always care. Always.
As some characters graduated and moved on, talented new actors joined the cast. In the 4th season, future star Michael B. Jordan played the troubled but gifted quarterback Vince Howard.
Coach, if I break my ankle and I can't play for you no more, you still gonna come around here? You still gonna check up on me? This is my life.
Fresh faces Dora Madison and Matt Lauria made an immediate impact as star-crossed high school couple Becky Sproles and Luke Cafferty.
We met at callbacks in Los Angeles. Kitsch was in there reading with all of the Beckys.
The Beckys.
She was the best Becky of all, obviously.
While the show centered on the football heroes of Dillon High, many storylines played out off the gridiron, focusing on family members and friends of the Panthers.
Perhaps the second most important relationship on Friday Night Lights was between Matt Saracen and his grandmother.
Taylor and I used to always watch the show together, and anytime you were in there, we cackled and loved all of your work. You're so good.
Let's talk more about
you're
that.
so good.
Let's talk
You're
more
so
about that.
good.
Matt really didn't have anyone in his life, and all he had was his grandmother. And it was also a really big burden on the character, who at 16 was taking care of her. And so every time the two of them were together on screen, your heart just melted.
Okay, Grandma, I made you 2 tuna fish sandwiches, and I put your medicine in the green Gatorade, okay?
Green Gatorade, but I only want one sandwich.
Well, then just eat one.
Well, but you made 2 and I just want 1.
Even just from the pilot episode when he's making her sandwiches, it's like he really has to take care of her. There's no one else there, and it's like from the get-go, you know that this is gonna be one of the emotional linchpins of the show.
I'll eat the other one when I get home from practice, okay?
You'll be hungry after that good old practice.
Yeah.
You, I adore.
What I've always heard was the sort of feeling of it's authentic, it's real. These people feel real to me.
Everybody has known these characters throughout life. Like, I based Tyra on a real person I was friends with. You know, like, all these people have really existed, so you kind of resonate with people. And there's so much heart.
Yeah, so much heart, I know.
I think from the final maybe 10 minutes of the pilot, it was evident that this show was something special.
He steps up, he hurls that football. He's got Lauria wide open. He's got it.
I actually didn't realize when we were shooting, but when I I thought this is going to be the biggest success ever.
10, he's going all the way. Touchdown!
I knew that moment when Riggins cheers was something that was indelible, was going to last, and it has.
Texas forever, Street.
Texas forever.
Over 5 seasons and 75 episodes, Friday Night Lights built a dedicated, fiercely loyal fan base. On the surface, the show was about football, but it was really about family, on camera and off.
Shooting in Texas forced the cast to become friends and even family.
The whole cast was incredibly close because when we all got to Austin, we made a point of actually going to dinner and going to do things, and I've never had that experience with another cast on any show. And I
think it's because we were just all implants. Like, none of us had been here. None of us had, like, you know, met each other, but we didn't know anybody else.
Yeah.
So it was kind of like, well, let's just all hang out.
We used to play flag football out here, not while we were working, but we would come out on our own to this field and sneak in.
And I tore my ACL on this
And
field.
Jesse tore his ACL.
So,
with Kitch covering him going, show me what you got. Come on, Plemons. Give it to me. Let's go. And then he tore his ACL, and production found out, and we were banned from ever coming back here again.
We all lived in the same apartment complex.
Like, there was 2 different apartment complexes that, like, you either lived in this one or you lived in this one.
And they were right next door to each other.
Yeah.
So we could walk to anybody's door and knock and go in and hang out.
A lot.
Yeah.
When a group of actors has to live in Austin, Texas, it's very different from Hollywood. It allowed them to really bond, to get to know each other, and I think it helped with their chemistry on screen.
The first scene was the first scene together. We come to the counselor. And you were a big problem. Miss Kincaid hates me.
She does not. Come on.
Yes, she does.
Well, if you fail it with Miss Kincaid, you're going to have to go do it next semester with Mr. Wendell.
I'm not going to be here next semester. That was a big problem. Yeah. It was fun, though, because like, we're such good friends. It was really fun to work with each other.
I know. I remember being excited that we were going to get to do that.
Where are you going to go?
California.
What are you going to do in California without a high school education?
You know, there's some tremendous moments that happen that you always remember. We can look back and you know, 75 episodes later, it's overwhelming.
Where Matt Saracen sings his grandmother out of the closet. Wreck. An absolute mess.
Sandman, I'm all alone, so please turn on your magic beam. Sandman, bring me a dream. Boom, 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 boom.
Mr. Sandman.
One of my favorite things about the show is that it can make you laugh and cry all at the same time, and also be inspired.
Smash and Riggins and Saracen and Street all go out to the football field. They get drunk, and it's the episode where Street starts coaching, basically. He teaches Matt to throw the deep out route.
You stay on the tops of your toes. Set! Hey! That's right. That's right. Look him up. Here comes the break. Line outside. Line outside. Line outside.
It made it look like Jason was standing again. Like, in his mind was like, finally not feeling like the chair was an anchor, but that he could do anything. So I think there's something special about that
I'm
episode.
gonna start crying.
Don't do it. Don't do it. I'll do it too.
Yeah, you know, I think back to just a lot of stuff, you know, like, it's such an intense, so many intense scenes, you know. I think of some of the stuff we did on the field. I think of the episode, you know, where Smash is giving the pep talk in the locker room.
Best thing you could do for me right now is win. And no matter what happens out there, y'all remember this. Y'all are state champs.
You know, those scenes are still, I go back and I watch it, I'm still like, ugh, you know, because it feels like, you know, you're just still so connected to the work.
I remember a moment when the paramedics were examining you, and, you know, he asked you to move your feet, and at one point you said, thank you, and I know it was improvised.
You're doing real good there, real good. Thank you.
And it was the most beautiful, like, locked-in moment, and that's when I knew it was something special.
It wasn't until all of us were together shooting the party scene, the Texas Forever scene, that I knew that it was really something special.
Here's to God and football. In 10 years from now, Street, good friends living large in Texas. Texas forever, Street.
Texas Forever. I knew that moment, that Texas Forever when Riggins cheers was something that was indelible, it was gonna last, and it has.
Listen up. Let's touch God this time, boys. Let's touch God.
They told me the only person who cried more during their last scene than me was Kyle Chandler.
Ready to go home?
Yeah, let's go.
In February 2011, after 5 critically acclaimed seasons, Friday Night Lights came to an emotional end with an unforgettable series finale.
Taylor, will you marry me?
A lot of beloved shows really give a messy series finale, but Friday Night Lights was able to deliver something so satisfying because it touched on all of the emotional points that people really loved throughout the entire series.
I turned the contract down. It's your turn. I want to go to Philadelphia.
Really, babe?
Will you take me to Philadelphia with you, please?
I never wanted Friday Night Lights to end selfishly, but watching the series finale and seeing how it ended, it was so perfect that I was glad that it was part of my life in the first place.
You may never know how proud I am of you. You changed my life, Coach.
Saying goodbye was as tough for the cast as it was for the fans.
It's hard to end it,
Yeah.
but I'm really glad they gave me the clear eyes, full heart sign and gave me my golf cart back.
Which he drove around in. He kept doing laps with the sign
they
hanging out
couldn't
the
make
golf
me leave
cart.
that day when we wrapped.
I'm a sister.
My last scene was with Becky, and I sent her back to her mother, played by Alicia Witt, and the script called for me to cry, but it was my very last scene I ever had to shoot for 5 years of Friday Night Lights, and I was like, guys, that's gonna happen no matter what, and I was a mess. They told me the only person who cried more during their last scene than me was Kyle Chandler.
You ready to go home?
Yeah, let's go.
That was like the last time I had with the cast and crew, was coming here late at night after our wrap party.
A bunch of us went out and played flag football after the wrap party. All the writers and some of the actors. I think
That's probably really drunk.
Yeah, I think some of us felt it was too dangerous, but there was a bunch of writers and actors and producers went out, but that was the last time I saw the field.
No matter where their careers take them, Friday Night Lights remains a defining chapter in the lives of the cast.
Always great to be back here to celebrate the work, that impact this show has had with everybody, and just to reunite with a community of folks that have worked on the show. It's a beautiful thing and a great privilege.
To be back here where those memories were made, where those friendships were really forged in iron, we all still talk to this day. So being back here is amazing.
I don't know if I ever imagined I would be back on this field, but it feels like just yesterday, and it feels really sweet.
You know, the last scene Smash had here was, you know, right here on this field with all the guys, and it's real special to be back here and just remembering, you know, all that history and all that, you know, that we did on the series.
Billy Riggins here. They told me they want to do a tour of the Panther locker room.
Where is Billy right now? Boy, oh boy. I think he's gotten his life together to a certain degree, but I don't think he's risen above it. I don't think he's living in a mansion anywhere. I think Billy's still struggling.
I mean, in my mind, Smash is playing pro, got a couple rings already, bought his mom a couple houses, you know.
I've been in love with you since I was 5 years old.
Tyra gets her psychology major, moves back to Dillon. Love it, love it. So far, I'm down. Counselor of Dillon High School. Okay. And Tim Riggins, who she's now married to, is the coach of the football team.
Let's get the show on the road. Come on.
Well, we're either married or...
I think we're married. I feel like even if Luke and Becky were married, Luke would still be pining for her some ways. Like, he'd be like, you go out so much, and like, you're still hanging out with Riggins?
Or he's pining for me off somewhere.
I think Luke Facebook stalks her.
Street is a top 3% agent out there. He won at life. He overcame so much, and the story they told for Jason Street was amazing, and he's a family man, and he's a good guy, and him and Riggins each have a bedroom in their own respective houses for the other guy, and they see each other probably once or twice a year, have a couple of beers, reminisce, and that's Jason Street's life.
Do you want to know where Grandma Saracen is now?
She's dead.
I gotta survive. I need it right now.
I'm sure that Tami is working really hard to do things that she loves, and Coach is inspiring more and more boys to be amazing and great.
Clear eyes, full hearts, can't lose.
Clear eyes, full hearts, can't lose.
Clear eyes, full hearts, can't lose.